Welcome everyone to the last webinar of the year, and we've got quite a special webinar installed, webinar and podcast, where we've got a few of our members sharing their success of 2022 and just giving a little bit of insight and information about who they are and their businesses, what they've achieved, and maybe what is in store for 2023. So first up, we've got a great guest, Natasha Charles from the US. Thank you, Natasha, for joining us.
Absolutely, Chris. Thank you so much for having me this morning.
Pleasure.
So 2022 has been a great year, fourth year in business. And for me, it's been a lot about building brand, building visibility, building credibility. So I was invited to become a member of the Forbes Coaches Council in November of 2021, which was amazing for my business. Intuitive Coaching with Natasha Charles was going into its fourth year then. And over the space of that year, I wrote 30 Forbes features for Forbes that were displayed on Forbes.com. There were 2 full-length articles. I wrote a book chapter in an Amazon best-selling internationally released book with Oprah Winfrey's all-time favorite guest, humanitarian, amazing businesswoman, and president of Tara Trent International, Dr. Tara Trent. And I also did 3 interviews. One of them was with a financial wellologist, and we talked about a number of issues related to women who are a central theme and a central piece of my platform. I also wrote a number of articles for LinkedIn and Medium. There were press releases, speaking engagements and events, and of course there were philanthropic campaigns that raised some funds that are much needed by some great groups of folks.
Sure.
And yeah, so in terms of what's next for me for 2023, I'm really thinking about building on the progress that I've made. I'm thinking about ways to leverage, ways to collaborate. One collaboration is happening right here in this group with Heather Cresswell. We are collaborating to create an event together that's going to be amazing, and I hope to see you all there. And pardon me, and of course, continuing to powerfully serve the clients that are core to my group. So Intuitive Coaching with Natasha Charles guides accomplished college students, professionals, and professional athletes to powerfully shift limiting beliefs and create a life that they love. My personal joy is helping people to make powerful changes that improve their lives with knowledge, wisdom, enlightenment, and care. It's central to what I do. And my preferred method is one-to-one conversational, action-oriented, results-driven coaching. And in closing, Intuitive Coaching with Natasha Charles also has a consulting division and strategic partnership service that's dedicated to accomplishing the top priorities and solving the most pressing problems of senior level executives. And if you'd like to connect with me, you can do so on my website, which is natashacharles.com.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, Natasha, for sharing that. Very cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Sounds like you were very busy this year.
Indeed.
Awesome. Next up, is there anyone that has a question, maybe for Natasha, on what she does? Or
You met this. I have a question, Natasha. You mentioned you work with sports stars. Are you directly working with the management agencies or directly with the actual sports professionals?
Typically it's direct.
Okay, interesting. I might have to have a chat with you after this. Yeah.
Absolutely.
right.
I have a question. You did a number of articles for Forbes. That's fantastic. What would you recommend be the best road in if you wanted to write for Forbes?
There are two that I can recommend. One is approaching the council to express your interest in being invited to be a member. They have a service that supports your writing efforts, which I found to be amazing and incredibly helpful and supportive. That's 3 ways of, again, saying that they were amazing. And the other is to become a contributor. That process involves courting an editor of the particular area in which you'd like to write.
Interesting.
So,
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you, Natasha.
Thank you.
Next up is going to be Moira. Moira, here you are. Awesome. So Moira, spot's over to you.
Thank you, Chris, and hello everyone. Great to see you. A big kia ora from Wellington, New Zealand. I have a different kind of format, pretty spontaneous, but I made a few little notes. And thank you, Chris, for the opportunity to actually reflect on what worked before moving into the next one. One of the things I sometimes tend to do is just to keep moving on to the next thing and the next thing. And I forget the value of looking backwards and just acknowledging what's been achieved. I think the main thing for me was I personally came to a deeper level of appreciation of my contribution to others and what it means to them. I'm a energy healer and I work in esogetics, a German model of holistic health, and I specialize in color puncture, which is very roughly like acupuncture but using color and light. So it's much more than that, but that's the simple nutshell of it. And I also specialize in something called energy emission analysis, which is a way of photographing the electromagnetic field of the body, from which we can see a lot of information about what's happening in the organs and in the energy of the body and sleep and all kinds of things. And that's based on Kirlian photography. So I have a treatment room here. I'm based in the Botanical Gardens, which is just beautiful, gorgeous, surrounded by trees, but very central, and beautiful soundtracks of natural birds. So, you know, it's a pleasure for me to be here always. While I can work with physical ailments and visible ailments, largely my area is the invisible stuff, and generally invisible wounds, and helping people understand and let go of the past so that they can move dynamically and energetically into the future that's actually not based on the past. It's actually based on the own brilliance that's inside them that they've yet to discover. And this, towards the end of last year, also completed the professional training in compassionate inquiry, which is a psychotherapeutic method, really beautiful, by Gabor Mate, who's just actually put out this book. Some people might know of it, but I definitely recommend it. So that's pretty much what I do. And I was thinking about success. If success is, or everyone's got their own measure, right? So I'm actually going to park the financial, because it wasn't a raging success financially, but actually it was okay. I managed to be okay financially, and I think that was quite good under quite difficult circumstances in 2022. And if I think of success being measured in doing what you want, when you want, with who you want, it's ticked all those 3 boxes. I feel like I've done really great work, and I feel very personally satisfied, and I have a few raving fans, so that's really good. Basically, I get the opportunity to use like 50%, this is how I say it, roughly, 50% my intuition and 50% my intelligence, and that's just the perfect mix for me. So the main thing is that as a sole trader, I've stayed afloat for this year, so it's really good. But I also work in collaborations, but they're generally topic and result specific, and generally have a time limit on them, and then I move on to something else to keep things fresh. One of my achievements or successes this year was that I wrote my own personal story of healing, empowerment, and resilience at the request of someone who was creating an anthology of 25 women from around the world, including the USA, Guyana, Kenya, Barbados, New Zealand, mostly the US. And so this is the book here, and it's been launched around the US this year. And I will have a little book launch here in Wellington, probably in January. I've done a few collaborations, as I say, one with an Indigenous group of women, because I really like them, and I've done a lot of work on Indigenous settings. But I was also interested in how they work collaboratively together, and the whole group process under that model. So I learned a lot from that, and there was a smallish group, and I was elected like a sort of a PO, which is like a sort of a wise woman, but really, you know, everyone's got the wisdom in themselves, where it really just guides to people for their own. But I did some other collaborations, and I set up a healers group because I'm really interested in healers really being committed at the action level of their own self-care. And so, and also I learned about group work through that. And I worked with a childcare centre who wanted to have a regular wellness day for their staff. So I pulled together a team, like an acupuncturist and a Māori massage, myself and a few other people. And we went and got rave reviews. Everyone was really happy. So that was really good. I've done some training in long COVID and pandemic recovery. So that was a bit more development for myself. But the large part of my work, of course, has been the one-to-one clients, and I've introduced 8 session packages, which I thought I will just see how that goes. And they've really been received really well, and so that'll definitely be something I will keep doing. And also, as a result of the compassionate inquiry training that I did, a success, I guess, well, yes, not I guess, a success was that I was much more willing to put myself out in deeper and wider waters, shall we say. I really like doing the deep work. That's where I shine. But there were some things I hadn't done in the past. So I was quick to put my hand up for a couple of big situations, shall we say. one was to counsel and support a woman in the States whose 14-year-old son had been fatally shot, which I thought, whoa, that's a big one. And it's just been amazing. It's just been amazing. I'm so glad I have.
Moira,
And
so I'm going to have to
yeah.
interrupt you there. I'm going to have to ask if you just hit us with some bullet points. We've
Wind it up.
Yeah, we've got
Okay.
some other guests
That's okay.
as well.
That's okay. So that's pretty much it. And I've done some pro bono work for an accomplished artist. And through that, I've had some classes myself, which has been really good fun. Yeah, so that's pretty much the year. But I think to finish strong and be planning for next year, that feels like success to me. I'm every bit as enthusiastic about the work I do. And
No, I think, Moira, you did great. And it was, I mean, to be able to get or to be part of a publication of a book, that's big. So well done.
thank you.
Yeah. I see. Thank you, Moira, for sharing.
Cool.
Awesome. Thanks. I see that Caroline is not online yet, and also Ian not. So I'm going to skip them for now, and we're going to go over to Heather. Heather, are you ready?
I am. Thank you.
Awesome. Over to you.
I would actually like to share my screen.
Yeah.
And I think that for me, 2022 has definitely been a pretty tough year. It feels to me like I've been in the trenches, and I was definitely in a winter. I've had some health issues, and then decided to go skateboarding with my grandkids and broke my arm. So quite a lot of physical challenges. But I feel that it's almost been like mining for gold, and that 2023 is going to be bringing the gold of all of the inner work that's taken place in 2022, not just for myself, but I think for everybody and the people that I've worked with. So I'm a coach, a speaker, and a trainer, and I am passionate about personal transformation and unleashing the potential of your inner self. And what happened for me in 2022 was I took a step back from my one-on-one coaching and ran a retreat with my new business partner in the heart of Philippolis. And it was just the most incredible experience. And Philippolis lies in the heartland of South Africa. And the incredibly powerful ley lines there. And what we were really working with was inner mastery and inner personal transformation. And so we've put together our retreats for 2023, and that was really what I wanted to share with you today, because that retreat was really a highlight of my year. It was incredible. The people that came on it had incredible experiences, and so that was what I wanted to share as a success for the year. And this personal mastery retreat is for conscious entrepreneurs and leaders like you. And I think that my understanding of our next level of personal transformation or human evolution is the raising of our consciousness, and that our mindset and the energy that we bring to everything that we do, to our lives on a day-to-day basis, is really going to be the defining point of what gives us the ability and the resilience to navigate these extraordinary times that we are living in, because they really are absolutely extraordinary. And if we can learn to master our minds, then I know that we can master our lives and we can master our businesses. And I found doing this work so much more profound and powerful because it is a completely immersive experience. And I think that when we get taken out of our everyday environments, it gives us the opportunity to redefine ourselves and to rewrite a new story. And so there's something that's incredibly special about the Karoo and the people that live there, and particularly in this town of Philippolis. And so it's just an incredible opportunity to retreat into a place where the main ingredients of our food, we do vegan and vegetarian food, is love. It's done by my business partner's partner. And we are also, you are hosted at the Groenehuis, which is this beautiful guest house in the middle of nowhere. I mean, Philippolis really is in the middle of nowhere, where you'll be taken care of and nurtured and loved by all of the staff there. And these are the things that we looked at in the last retreat, and we've refined it. And I've been working with Mark and Lundy on some of the content. And so we're going to be looking at the 8 toxic mindsets that come out of the Mind Brilliance elements of the Octopus program, looking at the impact blueprint, the 12 universal laws, really, really working with the law of attraction. And that's been so powerful for me, because being physically unable to bring the kind of high energy that I normally bring to everything that I do, I've had to work from an internal place, and really personally had the experience of what happens when I shifted my internal world and what that brought and reflected in the external world, and the absolute miracle that have taken place, looking at limiting patterns, those unconscious patterns that trip us up. And whenever we're moving to the next level, there's always going to be a level of transformation that needs to take place. And so we're always circling upwards on this upward spiral. And there's always more work that can be done in terms of freeing ourselves from those limiting patterns. And then we work with the Heart Math. If you're familiar with the Heart Math Institute, they really look at the role of the human heart in performance, and how do we create coherence with ourselves with very, very simple and powerful practices. I think, Natasha, I know you started last week with a breathing exercise, and we teach a breathing exercise that will help you to build coherence and create this coherence between your heart frequency and your brainwave frequency. And what's so beautiful about this is that when we have coherence between our heart and our brain frequencies, is that the heart frequency never changes to match the brain frequency, but your brain frequency will change to match your heart frequency. And that's when your mind comes into the service of your heart. So when you have a heartfelt vision, then your mind comes into service of the creation of that vision. And then we work with incredible spiritual technology. There's a labyrinth in Philippolis, so we work with a labyrinth. If you're familiar with Philippolis, he was one of the leaders of Philippolis, and his incredible, I think if South Africa had managed to take his blueprint, we would be living in a very, very different country, because he was incredibly progressive, very much around equality and inclusion. And so we're working with those kinds of technologies, as well as building a medicine circle. So looking on the physical level, the mental, emotional, and spiritual level. And then the thing that I am most excited about for 2023 is that we are partnering with Tiger Canyon, who's just down the road. And Tiger Canyon have the only wild white tigers on the planet. And so included in the retreat are 2 incredible game drives where you get up close and personal with these tigers. And tigers have so much to teach us, because they are not indigenous to South Africa, and yet they have adapted to their environment here, and they have an absolutely thriving community of tigers, as well as cheetahs and other beautiful, beautiful wild animals. And one of the things that tigers do is that they have the ability to insert new intelligence into their brains. And so on the retreat, we look at how do we clear out those old patterns, that old negative intelligence, and replace it with new intelligence into our brains and into our businesses and lives. So this is what some of the people have said. Dion came and, he connected with Mother Nature, soul, and God, and he never expected to go so deep. and yeah, really connected very, very deeply. Kevin, you know, great place, amazing food, and really just had incredible life-changing experiences. And it was completely life-changing for me as well, being on this retreat in this incredibly special place. So if you're ready to understand and transform what's been holding you back, really feel deeply connected to the universe and all the messages that it's sending you, activating the law of attraction, having this powerful mindset that allows you to navigate whatever's going on in the external world, knowing who you are, being filled with passion, and most importantly, meeting and journeying with like-minded people. We'd love you to have us come and join our community. For those of you that don't know me that well, I'm an international coach and trainer and really specialize in high performance and flow, using positive psychology and really taking action in terms of our own personal growth. And then my business partner is Dr. James Liddell, who's just the most incredible heart human being, and he's the CEO of the Lifestyle Clinic, and he brings a wealth of information around physical health, mental health, emotional health, as well as incredible wisdom out of Egypt, ancient wisdom out of Egypt, and he's a Heart Math accredited facilitator. So that was really my highlight of 2022, and I'm sure will be a highlight of 2023. And we'd love you to join our community and come and be with us in Philippolis. That's my email address. I will put all my links and everything into the chat. And that is what I wanted to share with you today, and would love to answer any questions that you might have on the retreats or the work that we do. Thank you so much, Chris, for having us, and to Mike and Lundy in the Circle of Excellence, as always.
Thank you, Heather, for being here. I think we all will be following you on that event for next year. It sounds amazing.
Cool. Yeah, it's really, I'm so excited about it.
Awesome. Natasha says, thank you, Heather. Great presentation. She has to leave. She's got another meeting happening soon.
Beautiful.
Yeah, awesome. So does anyone have any questions for Heather?
The website's not live, but it should be up by the end of the week, and that'll be the link. But I'll put it into our Facebook group, and yeah, get it out there.
Great. Thank you, Heather. Okay, next up we've got Kevin. And before we go over to Kevin, I didn't ask if anyone had any questions for Moira. I cut her short there. So if anyone have any questions about Moira, it was quite interesting about energy, and that's always an interesting topic. Okay, let's move on. Kevin.
All right.
Goes over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, so good to be here. My name's Kevin Etherington from Facebox Video Production, and we produce engaging video content all the way from big, complex, interactive videos with loads of actors for government departments, right down to solopreneurs and that sort of thing. But I have a little bit of a sad story to tell you, but don't worry, there is a happy ending. And I wrote it down so that I wouldn't go over time because I tend to do that. So bear with me here. Okay. And I'm going to start with a quote that I wrote the other day. How can we shine bright without first being cleansed by the fires of our own creation? Out of the pain, strength will rise up. The old will fall away, and you will emerge reborn in all of your glory. In January this year, push come to shove, right now I'm standing in our studio, but we almost had to close the doors. The phone stopped ringing. No one wanted video production. No one wanted video marketing, and most business owners, at least here in NZ, were in survival mode. I had to get a job, and this is the first time. Our company is 6 years old, and so it was a very, very humbling experience, but at the same time grateful that I was able to go and get one. Now the irony was the same thing that almost destroyed us, saved our business. I got a job on the COVID info line, and for 5 months I was on the other end of the phone, and I was kia ora, Thank you for calling the COVID info line. My name is Kevin. How may I serve you? And that's what I was doing. Now, this had two major benefits. Our company didn't have to pay me wages anymore, and I became incredibly grateful for the business that we had built. Then magic happened, and it's funny, like out of the ashes, something can be born, right? I was coming to the end of my 5-month contract, and just bluntly, I was shitting bricks, okay? And the phone was still incredibly slow. No one was calling, so I reached out to a marketing partner to run a Google ad campaign, and he said, Kev, to do this, your website needs an absolute complete overhaul because it needs to load fast. It was way too slow. Trying to save costs where we could, I built it from the ground up myself, and I researched every phase, optimizing for every little step of the way. And being a creative business was super important to me that it looked visually stunning, but there was no way that I could afford to compromise on speed. And during this process, I uncovered something so powerful, something so mind-blowing, and I started researching like a crazy man. I couldn't believe that most people hadn't heard of it. Schema markup, specifically schema FAQ. Billions of people are searching every day on Google, and just below those ads at the top of the page are the questions that they're asking. So if you answer their questions, there's a good chance you can turn up on page 1 of Google, which we now do, thanks to the system. Now, video is a powerful SEO tool, and we've known this for a long time, but we specialize in creating beautiful videos and pretty pictures, and then just gave it to marketing departments. But it was only after writing 31 FAQs on our own site that I thought, these answers to the FAQ questions, they're kind of like little video scripts. And so what we did was we filmed them, and then it was like lightning struck. It rained down from the sky. Okay, we filmed 31 videos in an hour and a half. Now, sometimes we're spending 2 days filming one video. Okay, so this was a revelation for us. So we packaged this up into a product, 25 videos for $2,500, $100 a video every week for 6 months. Now, I read a book earlier in the year, which tied into this as well. Actually, I've got it in the bookshelf down the end. It's by a guy, and I don't know if you've heard of him, called Alex Hormozy. And it's called something like $100 Million Offers. And basically, if you can create an offer that people look at and they think, I'm going to be stupid if I say no to this, then you're onto a winner. So it's about creating this offer that is so big, so huge, such a no-brainer that you don't need to sell it. It sells itself. In the last 3 months, we've onboarded 29 clients through this system. We've hired an additional video editor and forged a plan to impact 240 clients next year, harnessing the power of the system, as well as 25 videos for LinkedIn, Facebook groups, coaching courses, YouTube shorts, the list goes on, attention-stealing, authority-making videos that deliver real ROI. The first question you're probably thinking of before we open the panel here is, how the hell can you make a profit on that? We filmed 4 clients in 1 day, okay? So 2 hours each client. That's how we're able to achieve that. The next phase, we've created an online course. The next phase is to take this online, where you get access to our course. We send you out a starter kit. You film your own stuff, but we do all the scripting and all the editing on our end, on our side. So that's our win. We were super close to I had a conversation with my business partner, and basically it came down to that conversation whether we were just going to close the doors and walk away from it. And we've bounced back, and another win. We picked up a $50K contract the other day for a massive interactive video for another government department, Students Against Drunk Driving. And I don't mind sharing these numbers because, to me, they make a big difference. It means we're going to continue to stay in business. But our focus is on the 25 video plan. So if you want to check that out, our website is Facebox, not Facebook. Don't go there. I often go there myself. Facebox, okay, .co.nz, and I'll drop that in the chat as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Kevin. That was quite insightful and quite interesting. Please drop your social grips on the chat and allow us to check you out.
I've got a question for Kevin.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
First off, congrats, mate. I know how hard against the wall your back was, and what I'm loving, you're rocking LinkedIn with your videos with your customers, giving you and your customer there, giving the testimonial together. I'm loving those, and I'm looking at them with envy and figuring, how do I get my customers to do it?
Thank you.
Question is, can you just repeat the bit you talked about when you were researching your website and the schema stuff? Because I'm in the middle of redeveloping the website.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, as far as what Dave's referring to is, with every client we film a behind the scenes with them. And what I do is I introduce their business and they tell us what their experience was like. So it's social proof. Okay. I sold 2 packages the other day just from commenting on someone else's post because they checked out my content and it came from social proof. So a big part of that is social proof. So it's a thing called schema markup, and you can go to schema.org or you can just Google it. Okay, so as far as I know, no one really owns schema. It's just a computer language type thing, and I'm getting out of my depth already. But there's different types. So there's articles, there's FAQs. Okay, and we're diving into this next year another level deeper again and going long form articles. But basically you can use a schema plugin. So if you're building your own site on WordPress, you can buy a schema plugin. We use a plugin called Rank Math, which does that. It's kind of like Yoast SEO, and it does a lot of other things as well. But I can type literally, first time we ever done it, right? I can type the name of our video into Google on an incognito window, and we're on page 1. Okay, it works. And
Wow.
Our video is like #1 on Google incognito window, you know what I mean? Within 10 days, we use special ranking software called TubeBuddy and vidIQ on YouTube. We were ranked like #4 within 10 days. One of the videos only had 12 views, but it's still up there because of the optimization. So there's key things you can do. And that stuff's evergreen, right? Whereas opposed to, Google Ads, you got to keep feeding the machines. So
Thank you for that.
Kevin, this is amazing, man. Really congrats. And thank you for sharing the story. I mean, a lot of people, they tend to only share the wins, but to be honest, we all and we go through these peaks and valleys within business and in life, and it's good to share some of the values and show people that it's not just all butterfly and rainbows, at the end of the day, but you have to go through the valley to get to the peak now, which is amazing. So thanks for sharing that. And
thank you.
Firstly, whatever you're offering, I need to chat to you, man, because I've got clients all over the world that could use this exact thing, because we manage LinkedIn profiles and they need video and they need to be taught how to do video. So I need to speak to you about potentially doing a collaboration with a training kind of thing and showing individuals how to do this. Because also what you're charging is quite affordable, to be honest. So the value
the feedback has been absolutely phenomenal. Another guy, we'd finished his scripts, but he kept reading. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, that's the next script. He had already written another 10 scripts for his next lot he wants to do in 3 months.
Wow.
And
Nice.
so it's pretty crazy. We're in Singapore doing these in March.
Okay.
And we really want to make it.
We've got 30 clients in Singapore. So
no way. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad I mentioned it. We also want to do a trip to South Africa, but we want to time it for when Mike and Lundy are home.
Sure,
but we want to meet all you people and.
Well, I've sent you a connection request on LinkedIn, so let's set up a chat. Very keen to chat. Yeah. Very cool.
Done. Thank you.
Very cool.
Right. Does anyone else have a question for Kevin? Okay, awesome. So then we're going to move over to Renier. Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate it. And they say you keep the best for last, hey, Renier?
I don't know if I'm the best. Cool. All right, guys. Thanks very much for having me here. Really appreciate it. I'm humbled to be part of the group and thanks for the time. 2023, I'm sorry, I'm not even there yet. 2022 has been intense, I'm not gonna lie. Actually, the last 3 years has been very intense. As we hit COVID, the world was in turmoil and we just haven't had a break. It's been intense. It's just been this whole craziness to try and survive. And, when you're in the survival mode, you go into like overdrive and you burn out here and there, So to share a win, the last 3 years have been crazy growth. When we entered 2022, when we entered COVID era, we were only at 5 people at the agency. And during the last kind of 3 years, we've grown to a team of 54. So it's been eye-watering from just trying to maintain the staff load and getting people onboarded, and it's been crazy. So when we entered 2022, we were a staff load of, I think it was about 34. Now we're 54, so it's taken us about another year to add another 20 staff to the load. And with that, all the kind of the growth that comes with it, we've been able to, onboard a lot of clients worldwide. So what we do is we are a digital agency, but we manage key individuals' LinkedIn profiles. So we'll manage a CEO or an MD or a director, and they don't have really time to do this for themselves. So we would manage their personal profiles as an asset that they can use to go and fetch new clients, to fetch investment, to hunt for talent. There's a whole lot of things you can do with it, and it's one of the most powerful forms of marketing, I think, in our day and age, because Google and Facebook, yes, Google does work still, and you can spend money on ads, and SEO still works. But when it comes to Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, the paid side of it has really been shot. You can't get the return as you can back in the day, and it's so hard to get that return, and it's so expensive. So, what we've seen in the last 3 years where marketing is going is people are stopping to look at what the companies are saying. They're stopping to engage with company content. They're stopping to engage with brand content. And they're moving towards the people of those businesses. So they're starting to engage with the personalities behind the business, the CEOs, the MDs, the people that are leading the businesses, these personalities, these personal brands. And it's an exceptional, powerful kind of marketing tool to create an authentic, real voice behind a company. Because if you follow a CEO and you believe what they're doing, you're going to become an advocate of their company, and no advert is going to help you do that. So we've seen it across the board with a lot of our clients where their brands aren't doing well online. They're not getting the traction that they need. They're spending a lot of money. They're not getting it. But as soon as you put the effort and time behind 3-4 personalities on LinkedIn or on their socials, they get the amazing traction. Any CEO will get 20-30 times the engagement than any company post will get. So we've been building a business around that and getting the personalities out there, getting people to step out of their comfort zones, and really managing that and getting the individuals to become human online. And it's not a fact to say, oh, look at what lunch I'm having, or this is what I'm doing, but to really talk about what they're doing in business, how they're running the business, the culture, how do they pay their staff, how do they, their failures, their successes. Building public strategy is exceptionally powerful. And I think, Kevin also spoke about it. Building in public is that social proof. You can, when someone does business with you, they like, know, and trust you. And by building that social proof and that building public kind of thing, it really shows people that you're real, you're human. You can actually, you're not just this robot that's always, on all the time. So really using that kind of strategy. Few successes for this year. We started a new company, also LinkedIn based, but it's purely for sports professionals. So I guess that's why I want to speak to Natasha. It's taking sports professionals, taking their brands, and then taking them once they finish sport. What do? Do they go and work? Do they invest in business? Do they become an angel investor? We help them on LinkedIn to do that. We take their brands and we actually help them become these little entities that can attract opportunities, investment, going for certain things. So we've started that. It's called Podium One. I'll share that website with you. We started that with the ex-Springbok captain, Bob Skinstad. He's one of the partners in the business. So that's quite nice to have an ex-Springbok on the board and as a partner, and we're running that together. So that's going to be quite a focus in 2023. Then what we've done is we've added a new product to our product mix as an employee advocacy product. So a lot of companies will have hundreds, if not thousands, of employees, but they don't utilize their employees as an asset to talk about what they're doing and how they're doing it. And each one of these individuals have thousands, if not tens of thousands of followers on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. And why are companies not enabling and focusing on the employees to become these little brand ambassadors to talk about their journey from the company? So we're helping companies really formulate strategies on how to use their employees as an asset base to go out and talk about the business. And that doesn't cost anything in advertising revenue. It's literally, or advertising spend, it's literally just creating a strategy and giving them the mandate to tell them what they can and cannot do online. So we're going to be focusing on that in 2023. Then another initiative, if I don't have enough of those, we've helped a lot of companies gain investment via LinkedIn. So what we're going to do is set up a kind of course as well to take startups, to take businesses through a course that they can use LinkedIn to go and find angel investors, to attract angel investors. And it's all on this building public strategy on how they do as a company and how they progress as a company. And a lot of angels and VCs won't just invest in an idea, they'll invest in companies that they can see would need that cash to expand further. And it's a relationship that you build up. So we're going to be teaching a strategy to a lot of businesses on how to actually go and find investment for themselves, if it's angel or private, and really put what they do out there. And I love building in public. I think it's such a powerful way of storytelling and powerful way of showing people what you do and how you do it. And it creates loyalty from a customer perspective, from an investment perspective, and it's that journey that will help them with. So I think that's also where video will come in, and I'll have to speak to Kevin about that. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. We're ending off the year on quite a hecticness. It's quite hectic trying to finish it off. It has slowed down a little bit in December, which is granted. I mean, a lot of people are making big decisions in December, but beginning of next year's pipeline's looking intense. So we're going to take a bit of a break now over December, and then I think January, February is going to be head down in the actual tranches, trying to really grow it again. I don't know why we keep growing this. I don't know why that's a thing. But as I say, sharks, if they stop swimming, they die. So I'm not saying I'm a shark. I'm just saying that's just one of those things.
Awesome. Thanks, Renier, for sharing.
Yeah.
We've actually got a message there for you from Steve Evan.
Sure.
Maybe just give that a look ahead and connect afterwards.
Cool. Yeah. No, I'll check it out. Excellent.
Yeah. So with that, that's everyone that was online. So thank you for everyone joining in, setting out some time to be able to guest on the webinar. And just one thing I want to share is what I've noticed of being part of the Circle of Excellence is always when we just before you do, could I just ask a quick question? Yeah, sure.
Go for
it.
Yeah. Sorry, just before you do. Yeah, I didn't want to ask it after. That would just be awkward and weird. I just missed the beginning where you were saying the size of your team, and are they global, like everywhere, like a lot of people working virtually?
So we have a small little office in Cape Town, but majority are global. They're everywhere. They're all remote. I've got a team in Serbia. I've got about 4 employees in Serbia. I've got a small team in Botswana. I've got the rest of the team here in South Africa. I've got 1 employee in Namibia. So it's all remote. It's not we're not location dependent because most of our clients are international. As I said, Singapore, APAC region is a big region for us because we have a LinkedIn partner there. I'm not sure if you know him, Chris Reed. He's actually in Cape Town at the moment. Yeah, he's in Singapore, so he sells what he sells there, and we do all the work here. So yeah, it's they're all remote. Everyone's remote.
Fantastic, great stuff. Yeah,
excellent,
awesome,
fantastic. Go forward, Chris.
Okay, great. So yeah, just want to say thank you to everyone. And then where I left off was what I've noticed with being part of the Circle of Excellence is always when we get together, there's always a great connection with all the members. It's quite awesome. Always chance for collaboration or partnership, and
yeah,
that's what's amazing. That's what's amazing. We can all grow, all empower each other. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining, and thank you for all the listeners and viewers. I hope you guys have a great festive time, and next year is going to be a great year.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, everyone. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, guys.
Everyone.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you, everyone.